The first worm lunged at Dalamar, who narrowly rolled aside and launched an eldritch blast that exploded part of its jaw. Eldrelon summoned a storm of ice shards, freezing one mid-lunge. Wilhelm planted his feet and swung his axe in wide arcs, cleaving into the worms that dared to come close to him. Shadowfang danced across the sands like smoke, striking exposed flesh, only to vanish and reappear on the far side of the battlefield. Lucius, sword in hand, fought beside Arden and Randall like a man with something to prove, his strikes elegant and deadly. The worms fought back fiercely, ramming, biting and twisting. Jojo enhanced Ogblog with a spell. The half-orc charged, shield high, slamming a worm into the dunes. One worm pierced Arden's shoulder, but he roared and split it in half. Another nearly swallowed Jojo, but Dalamar turned it into ash with a spell of dark fire. After a grueling skirmish, 4 of the 6 worms lay dead, the sand soaked with their yellow blood. 2 retreated beneath the dunes, wounded. The group, though bloody, survived. They harvested the meat from the carcasses for rations and pressed onwards until the suns dipped below the horizon. The desert grew cold fast, the heat of the day replaced by biting winds. They gathered around a roaring fire. As the others tended their wounds and sharpened weapons, Shadowfang rose and pointed northeast. A faint red beam of light shimmered in the sky for a brief moment, like a sword of blood pointing upwards from the ground. All eyes turned. "Rakanis," Dalamar said bitterly, voice hollow. The others looked at him. "I vowed never to return to that place," he muttered. "It is where I was forged in darkness. That beam. I do not know what it is, but I feel its call." The beam vanished moments later, leaving only silence. The next morning the party rose before dawn, stirred awake by the slow ascent of the twin suns as they crested upon the desert horizon. Pale golden light spilled across the endless dunes, casting long shadows that stretched like fingers across the sand. They wasted no time breaking camp. Everyone knew that once the suns reached their peak, the desert would become a merciless furnace. For hours they travelled in silence, boots crushing against sand as the dunes rose and fell beneath them like waves on a frozen sea. Sweat clung to their armour and robes alike. Eventually, the dunes gave way to a long stretch of flat desert, a rare blessing that allowed them to make better time. And there is what they saw. A mirage. Wavering in the heat ahead, at least. That's what they first believed. The shape shimmered, distorted by the rising warmth. But as they stared, the outline became unmistakable. A large tent, standing alone in the desert where nothing should be. They halted, exchanging wary glances. After a brief discussion, and with no better options, they agreed to investigate. As they drew closer, the tent did not fade. Instead, it became more solid, its fabric rippling in a wind none of them could feel. Lucius suddenly stiffened. Without a word, he reached beneath his robes and withdrew a small blue stone, smooth and cold to the touch. It pulsed softly with inner light, as though it were alive. His expression was distant, almost reverent. "My father gave me this," Lucius said quietly. "He told me I'd know when to use it. This is that moment." Before anyone could question him further, the stone flared once, and the entrance to the tent yawned open. They stepped inside. At first, it seemed like a normal tent. Fabric walls, incense curling through the air. But something felt wrong. The space inside was far larger than it should have been, and the air hummed with quiet power. In an instant, the world shifted. The party found themselves separated from Lucius and his two men, standing instead before a hunched, elderly woman seated upon layers of rugs and cushions. Her eyes glittered with unsettling intelligence.
"Welcome,"
she croaked.
"I am Baba."
None of them trusted fortune tellers. Charlatans, the lot of them. Or so they believed. Yet when Baba looked at them, it felt as though she were peeling back layers of flesh and memory alike.
"Show me,"
she said.
"something that matters to you."
One by one, they stepped forward. Wilhelm produced his wolf's pelt, worn proudly over his armor. Baba's finger traced the fur, and she hissed sharply.
"This pelt belongs to the Night Haunter's pets. You wear it boldly, but be warned. Flaunting it may draw eyes you do not wish to meet."
Wilhelm frowned but said nothing, clutching the pelt closer. Shadowfang offered the dagger his father had given him. Baba's lips curled into a knowing smile.
"Your father did not die when you believe he did,"
she said softly.
"He yet lives. Seek him, if you dare."
Shadowfang's grip tightened until his knuckles went white. Jojo nervously presented his pouch of sleeping powder. Baba's gaze sharpened.
"The people of Mahalt still hunt you," she whispered. "Beware the pale man. He draws closer than you think."
Jojo swallowed hard, stuffing the pouch away. When Ogblog revealed his holy symbol, Baba froze, her eyes rolled back, and her body convulsed as she fell into a violent fit. Moments later, she gasped, voice echoing unnaturally.
"Something far greater than I will speak soon to you."
Ogblog stood stunned, knuckles whitening around the symbol. Dalamar stepped forward, presenting his staff. Baba studied him for a long moment.
"You are plagued by nightmares," she said. "You have sold your soul for power and seek to change the outcome. A dangerous road. Another choice approaches. Choose poorly, and it will claim your life."
Dalamar said nothing, but his expression darkened. Finally, Eldrelon held out his staff. Baba nodded solemnly.
"There will come a moment when you are called upon. Choose wrongly, and it will cost you your life."
Black smoke erupted around them, thick and suffocating. When it cleared, they stood once more beneath the open sky, the tent gone as if it had never existed. Lucius and his men stood nearby, just as confused.